It's a lot of great people. Lots of great people on both sides. Excuse me. Fake reviews. Fake reviews.
What's your favorite death row record, Mr. Trump?
All of them. All of the death row records. Don't try to pin me down. I see what he just. Excuse me.
Fake news.
Excuse me.
Fake news.
Fake news. A lot of great people. Great people on both sides. Meet me at the Capitol. A lot of great people. A lot of great people. Unbelievable people.
Jamie Foxx just blew up the internet with a Trump impression so spot on, it's practically melting phones faster than an iPhone tossed in a microwave. He didn't just mimic Trump, he straight up embodied the chaos, the energy, and the over-the-top personality. From the signature hair flaps to the unpredictable late-night rants, Foxx nailed it so perfectly that Mar-a-Lago security is probably checking their cameras to make sure there isn't a clone walking around. But here's where things get really interesting. Could Trump actually sue Jamie Foxx for identity theft? Sounds crazy, right? But let's be real, if there's one thing Trump loves more than admiring himself in the mirror, it's throwing lawsuits around like confetti. Just imagine the headlines. Trump versus Foxx. Who owns the rights to this orange persona? It wouldn't even feel like a legal battle, it would be a full-blown comedy roast, with Foxx delivering punchlines while Trump demands his very stable genius royalties. In the end, Foxx's impression isn't just hilarious, it's practically therapy for anyone who needs a laugh in these wild times. So sit back, grab some popcorn, and hit play. Because when Jamie Foxx transforms into Donald Trump, even the real Trump might have to stop and watch.
Well, listen, honestly, some of the people around this say, let's not get political, but Jamie Foxx did the worst impression of me that I've ever heard. A terrible Trump.
It wasn't that bad.
It was so bad.
A lot of times people say it's bad, but it was actually the best
Jamie,
impersonation of me
it was a
that
disaster.
I've ever done of me.
Jamie, it was a disaster.
And I wasn't even there.
Jamie, the saying, Ray could have actually seen how bad it was.
To be honest with you, Stevie Wonder said it was amazing. Do you believe that blind guy or the other blind guy?
You know what? He's a nasty
It's a lot
guy.
of great people.
He's a nasty, pathetic...
Maybe Trump will tune in to pick up a few tips on charisma, or who knows? He might just shrug it off and call it fake news. Either way, we come out on top. Whether he laughs along or fires off a tweet, it's a win for everyone watching.
A lot of great people. Lots of great people on bus. I love London. London falling down.
I just got to tell you that you better bet your back. Because I also do a Donald Trump impression. Jamie Foxx, the greatest Fox in the wilderness. Great guy.
Yes. Do you have the yell? That. You gotta get the yell.
They tried to give me the virus.
You know what he does there?
I beat the virus. They tried to give me...
You know what I'm saying?
He just turns into people. He just turns into people. It's
That is
amazing.
so good.
I love her.
Have you ever seen his
She's
rock?
African. I love her hair.
Can we?
She's African. I
Love
love
her
his.
hair.
I love his sweater. He's got a great sweater.
Seriously, Jamie Foxx's impression is so spot on. It's like he borrowed Trump's playbook and sprinkled it with comedy gold. From those exaggerated pouty lips that could rival a fish to the over-the-top hand gestures that would make even an Italian chef jealous, Foxx has mastered every little detail. It's like Trump has a long-lost twin, except this one knows how to land a joke. All right, buckle up, because Jamie just pulled off a transformation so wild that even TikTok dancers are rewinding to study it. Picture this. Jamie's sitting on a talk show couch, cool as ever, laid back and charming. Then, in a split second, boom. He transforms into Donald J. Trump. The host asks, "What's your favorite death row record, Mr. Trump?" Without missing a beat, Jamie, as Trump, fires back, "Oh, let me tell you, I love me some Snoop Dogg. But you know what? Nobody plays it better than me, believe me. People say my taste in music is incredible." Incredible. And just like that, the audience is in stitches, trying to figure out if they're watching comedy or pure magic. Jamie Foxx didn't just do an impression, he reimagined Trump with a dose of humor the real one could never top. Now that's entertainment.
It's a lot of great people on both sides. Lots of great people on both sides. I know Harry O. He's a great person. He couldn't vote for me at the time. Now he can vote for me once he gets out. I love Snoop Deal Double G. Great person.
Trump, do you love Death Row Records?
I love
People on
Death
both
Row.
sides.
I love Death. Excuse me. Fake news. I love Death Row.
What's your favorite Death Row record, Mr. Trump?
All of them. All of the Death Row records. Don't try to pin me down. I see what he just. Excuse me.
Fake news.
Excuse me.
Fake news.
Fake news.
Hold on to your MAGA hats, folks, Because Jamie Foxx didn't just do a Trump impression, he unleashed Trump on steroids. This wasn't your typical run-of-the-mill impersonation. No, this was Trump cranked up to 11, so over the top it felt like you were watching an alternate universe version of the man himself. And when Jamie dropped that voice, oh, that voice, it was so spot on you'd swear Donald Trump had snuck into the studio without anyone noticing. The host's reaction? His eyes practically popped out of his head, like he'd just seen a ghost, a very orange ghost with a questionable comb-over, and he laughed so hard he nearly fell off his chair. I wouldn't be surprised if he pulled a muscle from cracking up. But here's the real surprise, even the die-hard Trump supporters in the audience couldn't keep a straight face. You know the guys who sit there with arms crossed looking grumpier than Trump at a salad bar? Yeah, even they were giggling like kids who just heard someone say poop. And social media? It absolutely exploded. Twitter lit up like a Christmas tree, Facebook lost its collective mind, and Instagram was scrambling to figure out which filter makes you look most presidential. Memes started flying faster than you can say fake news. There was one of Jamie's Trump riding a giant golden escalator to heaven, another with him building a wall made entirely of Big Macs, and my personal favorite, a side-splitting meme of Jamie's Trump arm wrestling the real Trump, captioned, "Orange alert, there's two of us now." Now let's get into the impression itself, because honestly what Jamie pulled off was nothing short of legendary.
If it's President Trump, it's a lot of great people on both sides. Meet me at the Capitol. It's a lot of great people, unbelievable people, a lot of people. So, it's just a vibe.
Jamie didn't just mimic Trump, he broke him down, studied every detail, and brought him back to life as pure comedy gold. Every little quirk was spot on. The pouty lips, the squinty eyes, and those wild hand gestures that looked like they belonged in an old silent movie. He even nailed that strange way Trump stands kind of like a centaur that lost its back legs. Honestly, it was so accurate that I wouldn't be shocked if Trump's own mirror did a double take. And let's talk about how Jamie nailed Trump's way of talking. He perfectly captured those rambling sentences that always somehow circle back to "I'm the best." Words like tremendous and huge were flying out of his mouth like they were on clearance because, let's face it, they probably are. At one point, Jamie, as Trump, started bragging about his very big brain and how he knows the best words, leaving the audience in absolute stitches. I swear, I saw one guy laughing so hard, he had tears streaming down his face, or maybe he was just crying over the state of American politics. Hard to tell these days.
I'll grab your hand and you play me. Hey,
You get your fucking hands off me.
Let's talk about the impression itself. Jamie didn't just mimic Trump, he straight up dissected him, brought him back to life, and turned it into pure comedy gold. Every little quirk was on point, the pouty lips, the squinty eyes, the wild hand gestures like he was auditioning for a silent movie. He even nailed that bizarre stance, like a centaur that lost its back legs. Honestly, it was so spot on, I wouldn't be surprised if Trump himself got confused for a second. And let's not forget the way Jamie nailed Trump's speech patterns. He had those rambling, never-ending sentences that somehow always circled back to "I'm the best." He tossed around words like tremendous and huge like they were on clearance. And of course, he had to brag about his very big brain and how he knows the best words. The audience was in absolute tears, some from laughter, and maybe some just crying about the state of politics. Hard to tell these days. What made Jamie's impression so brilliant wasn't just that it was funny, it was scary, accurate. He captured every little thing that makes Trump, well, Trump. The weird repetitions, the random tangents, the constant self-praise. It was like watching a nature documentary, except instead of lions or elephants, we were studying a spray-tanned politician. By the time Jamie wrapped up, he'd basically given a masterclass in Trump impressions. Other comedians were probably watching, taking furious notes, wondering, how does he do that? Jamie Foxx didn't just break the internet, he shattered it, then set the pieces on fire. If this is what happens when you mix insane talent, humor, and a little bit of madness, then sign me up for more. Because if there's one thing we all need right now, it's a good laugh, and Jamie delivered. Alec Baldwin was probably somewhere breaking out in a cold sweat, thinking, is my job even safe anymore? Meanwhile, over at Mar-a-Lago, you could practically hear the gears grinding in Trump's orange-tinted head, as he caught wind of Jamie's impression. His Twitter fingers must have been itching like he rolled around in poison ivy because before you knew it, the tweets were flying faster than a New York minute. We all know Trump loves his late-night Twitter rants, but this time, he was firing off messages quicker than he fires cabinet members. It was like watching a toddler on a sugar rush playing whack-a-mole, except instead of moles, he was whacking common sense. First, Trump called Jamie Foxx a low-energy actor. Talk about the pot calling the kettle orange. Coming from a guy whose idea of exercise is walking to the fridge for another Diet Coke, that insult landed with all the impact of a wet noodle. But wait, it gets better. In another tweet, Trump declared Jamie's impression was fake news. Oh, the irony. That's like getting mad at your own reflection because you don't like what you see. Trump's self-awareness is about as sharp as a goldfish with amnesia. Then his supporters jumped into action, trying to defend him like knights charging into battle armed with nothing but spoons. They were yelling things like, "Trump's a great speaker." Yeah, sure, and I'm the Queen of England. Meanwhile, Jamie was out there living his best life, retweeting every angry Trump post like it was a game. You can just picture him, chilling by the pool, sipping a margarita, hitting the retweet button with the biggest grin ever. And, of course, the more Trump tweeted, the more people watched Jamie's impression. Classic Trump move, don't feed the trolls. But then again, when has he ever followed the rules? His meltdown just made the video go even more viral, spreading faster than a juicy rumor in a small town. Suddenly, people who had never even heard of Jamie Foxx were quoting his Trump lines like they were gospel. At one point, Trump even tweeted, Jamie Foxx couldn't act his way out of a paper bag. Rich, coming from a guy whose acting skills wouldn't get him cast in a high school play. Maybe he's just bitter because Jamie has an Oscar, while Trump's biggest achievements involve failed casinos and questionable beauty pageants.
The championship.
With joy.
Yeah. I cried with joy.
Wow. Good.
But here's the real kicker. Trump somehow managed to misspell Jamie Foxx's name in one of his tweets, calling him Jamie Foxx like the animal. Seriously, spell check must be fake news now, huh? And those timestamps? 2:17 a.m., 3:45 a.m., 4:22 a.m. Was Trump trying to break a record for staying awake the longest? Or maybe he just couldn't stop thinking about how his hair looks like a corn husk caught in a wind tunnel. Things got so out of hand that Trump's staff reportedly tried to take his phone away. Just picture it grown adults scrambling to wrestle a smartphone from a very angry, very orange man, clutching it like it was his tax returns. It was like trying to take a bone from a rabid dog. By morning, the hashtag Trump meltdown was trending higher than his approval ratings ever did. Late-night hosts were practically drooling. Political pundits had a field day. And somewhere in the White House, you just know a stress ball was being squeezed within an inch of its life. Comedy shows went absolutely nuts. Every host from Colbert to Kimmel wanted in on the Jamie Foxx Trump madness. They roasted Trump's reaction harder than a Thanksgiving turkey. If there's one thing we've learned, it's that no one creates chaos like Donald Trump. And no one turns that chaos into comedy quite like Jamie Foxx. It became an all-out roast battle with every late-night show trying to top the last. Stephen Colbert didn't hold back. He set up a fake satellite interview with Trump, played by Jamie Foxx. The audience lost it as Fox's Trump bragged about inventing interviews and claimed that satellite technology was inspired by his hair. Colbert could barely keep a straight face when he asked, "Mr. President, how many hamburgers can you fit in your mouth at once?" Fox's Trump shot back, "All of them, Stephen. I have the biggest mouth. People say it's tremendous, it's true." Not to be outdone, Jimmy Kimmel hosted a Trump-off between Jamie Foxx and Alec Baldwin. Foxx claimed he defeated COVID just by staring it down, while Baldwin countered that he'd invented a new color called Trumped, apparently better than all other colors combined. Believe me, even Jimmy Fallon jumped in, trying to impersonate Foxx impersonating Trump. That's like painting a copy of the Mona Lisa while riding a unicycle. The result? A Trump impression that sounded like it was raised by New York pigeons. Then came the memes, so many memes. They popped up faster than you could say fake news. Before long, even your grandma was sharing Jamie Foxx Trump jokes on Facebook. Yeah, it got that wild. Over on TikTok, things went nuclear. Suddenly, there were more Foxx Trump dance challenges than Gen Z could keep up with, And if Gen Z can't keep up, things are out of control. People were busting out moves that looked like a mix between the chicken dance and whatever it is Trump does at his rallies. Horrifying? Yes. Hilarious? Absolutely. Impossible to look away? You bet. And just when you thought this was all fun and games, the serious folks showed up. Political analysts started treating Fox's impression like it was the Rosetta Stone of modern politics. CNN panels, those experts of calm discussions, began analyzing Fox's hand gestures like they were ancient hieroglyphics. One analyst even said, "Notice how he raises his pinky when he says China. This symbolizes the delicate nature of U.S.-China relations." Meanwhile, viewers at home were wondering, have these people ever heard of comedy? But wait, it gets better. Fox News jumped in, calling the impression a deep state plot. Because obviously the biggest threat to democracy is a celebrity doing spot-on impressions. What's next? Meryl Streep taking down capitalism with a scathing Janet Yellen impression? Even political science professors wanted a piece of the action, pumping out op-eds faster than Trump tweets. College students everywhere groaned when the role of satire in modern democracy, a case study of Jamie Foxx's Trump impression, popped up as required reading. At this rate, Fox's Trump impression wasn't just comedy gold, it had turned into a full-blown political event. And honestly, that's the funniest part of all.